I did. I thought you was on the ropes, Mars, with that last one, with that 6-man best player not to make an all-star team. I thought you was on the ropes with that one, Mars. I was like, yo.
That was a long pause.
Yeah, Mars.
DJ McCollum.
I was like, ooh. I thought he had you on the hook with that one, bro. I was like, yo.
Nah, I just had to build suspense. I had CJ McCollum in the brain from the minute one.
He's a showman too. Yeah.
So you already had it figured out, Mars.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna go CJ, but I didn't need to go long-winded with it. I was like, let me just build up the suspense, make people think I don't know. Say CJ, win, give my victory speech. It was all planned.
I didn't see him typing anything either.
I don't need the basketball reference like some people.
Is it true that someone, I won't mention any names, they can see the reflection of the basketball reference in their glass?
I'm 100% confident I saw it.
That's the
I read it in the chat. I read
Big
it.
Ox, Big Ox, I want to make sure I ain't going crazy because I'm 100% confident I saw it.
I saw it, and I was looking like I know I'm gonna see reflection. And then J-Rob said something in the chat, and I was like, I know I seen something.
I know it. Okay, so I wasn't going crazy neither. I'm like, wait a minute, somebody cheating on the test over here? Somebody over here cheating on the test.
Because if you look, so a lot of times when he talks, he does this thing where he looks this way and he goes like, I think he averaged like 20 points, and I'm like, yo, what are you looking at? You're not slick, bro.
See, I struggle because of my dementia, so it's like it's tough because sometimes I forget what we're talking about.
And hold on. There's nothing wrong with notes and going over some stuff because I do homework. I gotta go over. I gotta go over notes sometimes, right? But I mean, when you in the test, I can't be talking to you dudes and no. That's the idea to like when we going over it. You know, me and Big Ox can't get in the battle round, and then Big Ox say something, and I go, hold on, Big Ox, let me go check my rhymes real quick.
Right.
No, that's not how this works. No, that's not how this works.
You got to show up ready to speak.
Yeah, that's not how this works. We're gonna play one-on-one, Ox, and then in the middle of the one-on-one game, hold on, Ox, let me go practice real quick, and I'm gonna come right back. No.
Been watching basketball for 40 years. I don't even remember everything, man.
No, I don't. I do not. There's some things that I got. Hold on, man. I gotta go back and do some homework. Since you brought that up, Tone, I got a question for the panel. I'm glad you brought that up. So, Jaylen Brown, this season, his contract extension is predicated on him it's predicated on him making an All-NBA team.
Yeah.
So because of that, do you see him making an All-NBA team this year?
What's he listed as, a guard or a forward?
It doesn't make a difference. I think he listed as a forward though. What up, Ticket?
I thought he's listed as a guard.
Man, what up? Y'all went a minute early today, huh?
It's a new era.
Yeah. See the new background?
Crazy, man. What's up, everybody? Y'all good?
What up, Ticket?
We're good, man.
I think to be honest with you, I think he's listed as a forward, Mars, and I don't know why. Because DeMar DeRozan was listed as a power forward a little while ago too. I don't get that. But with that being said, is Jaylen Brown an All-NBA performer?
He is. Will he get it? I don't know.
Basically, you're asking, is he top 10? Is he top 10 or is he top 10 in the East? Is he either a top 4 forward or top 4 guard? I actually thought he was listed as a guard, to be honest. But who's better at the guard? Let's go with guard at the guard position in the East.
In the East, I think other than like James Harden, I don't know who really can make it.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, my fault. Donovan Mitchell, my fault. So James Harden, Donovan Mitchell.
Is Jalen Brunson in this conversation?
I don't think he should be over Jaylen Brown.
I don't think so neither.
I don't think Trae Young should be over Jaylen Brown. I don't think Zach LaVine should be over Jaylen Brown.
Brown's gonna lose that $100 million, bro. You're not gonna make it.
I think the love stops with D Mitch and James Harden.
Well, let's keep in mind he's a forward though. So if we're talking about guards, it's null and void. It doesn't even matter.
So he is listed as forward. Okay.
Giannis, JT for forward. Giannis and Jason Tatum.
Right. KD.
Kevin Durant.
So K. Oh yeah, right.
LeBron.
James.
LeBron. So that's 4.
KD missed 2 many.
LeBron's in the West. But
all NBA is not conference based.
Oh, right.
KD missed too many games though.
It doesn't. You don't have a
limit on
It
all
doesn't
NBA?
matter until
No,
next
it's
year.
not.
Next year.
You do not have a set limit. I mean,
Well, I know it says that you don't have a set limit, but I'm sure they got to take it into account though.
They didn't do it before. They didn't do it before. They still.
I was just getting ready to say that. You figure Kawhi Leonard made first team in 21. I think he played 54 games. Irv played 52 games. Irv played 54 games.
Okay.
So, I mean, and Leonard, when they won the NBA championship, what he played 55 games that year, something like that. So when you talk about the forwards, the question I'm posing to the panel, and you dudes might be able to straighten me out here. Since you dudes been watching the game, when have you seen a guy number 2 on the second best team in the NBA record wise, that's 27-7, not make the All NBA team?
Just for the record, for the record. So Jaylen Brown was listed as a guard for this year's All-Star game.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure he's going to be listed as a guard for the All NBA.
Right.
He's done. He's not getting. If he goes in as a guard, it's over.
But Ticket, the question I'm asking is that who goes ahead of him? So you got Ja, you got Mitchell, you got
Luka,
Ja, Mitchell, Curry,
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
You ain't gotta say Kyrie. You can go Ja Morant. You can go De'Aaron Fox. Then you also got to go. You're probably gonna go. What's his face in the Eastern Conference? That's playing with Giannis.
Drew Holiday does not go before Jaylen Brown. He doesn't. No.
They're the first place team. Hold on, they're the first place team in the NBA. He's gonna be on there. I guarantee you. He got voted
not before Jaylen.
I think Jaylen Brown a little bit of action.
Jaylen Brown's team is a game and a half back.
How much money you want to bet right now? Drew Holiday makes third team on NBA. How much money you want to bet?
Not over Jaylen Brown.
They got the number 1 seed in the league. He made the All-Star team this year. He got 50 this year. He's going. Trust me.
150-point game isn't getting you all.
No, hold on. But what I'm saying is, they're the number 1 team in the league.
Right.
He's getting on NBA. He's going to make all NBA.
Boston are only a game and a half back of them, and Jaylen Brown is just playing better.
I don't give a damn if they're half a crack. Nothing back. His ass is going.
But Ticket, just because you're the first place team in the league does not necessarily mean that
he's been balling. Hold on, but pull up his numbers too. But see, this is what I'll do, right? I'll put anybody want to take that bet on this panel right now. We take that bet. I guarantee third team on NBA. He gonna make 13 on NBA this year.
Drew Holiday is an All NBA performer over Jaylen Brown, the second best record in the NBA. 27-7. I don't think he goes. I don't think he goes before Jaylen Brown. No.
They play both ends.
So does Jaylen Brown.
Hold on, what's Drew Holiday averaging this year?
27 is. I'm sorry, 8. I think Drew Holiday. If I'm going off the top of my head, I think he's like 18 and 7, something like that.
Okay, I think it's more than that.
8 is either 18 or 19 and 7, something like that.
Fluent got it right now. What he averaging, Fluent?
What's that?
He's 19. He's 19 and 7.
So 19 and 7. Okay, over a guy who's 27-7 on a team that's got the second best record.
Hold on. Jaylen Brown 27-7.
27-7.
He's
the number 2. And not only is he number 2, the number 2 on the second best record wise in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And he played, and just like Ticket mentioned, he plays on both ends of the floor too. I don't think he's an all-league defender, but he also plays on both ends. I'm having a difficult time.
There's 6 spots though, right? Now there's 6 spots. So you got, like we said, I think we all agree Luka, right? Donovan Booker? Do you have Devin Booker? Excuse me, you have Booker over him, yeah?
Yeah.
Ja?
Whoa. Rewind. Book. I don't know about Book.
I don't know.
I don't know about Book, Tone. And the reason why I don't know about Book, because this is what we don't want to do, Tone. We're not going off the better player. We're not doing that. No, what we're going off of, we're going off the guy who's having the better season. That's what the All NBA is predicated on as of right now. It's not the better player. Now, don't get me wrong. In the past, what has happened is guys' anticipation for the next season. That's how we get the league MVP, right? That's how we get all-stars. I get with that. But for a guy to be 27-7 on a second place team.
Let me do this. Here's the 6 from last year: Booker, Doncic, Morant, Curry, Paul, and Young. Those are the 6 from last year. So who's
Trae
out?
Young is out.
CP3 and Trae Young,
right?
yeah.
Would we say those other 4 are in?
Now who else?
I got him over Ja too. I got him over Ja.
Out too.
I agree. Devin Booker and John Morant are both questionable. Yeah, they're both. I think Luka and Steph are guarantees to me.
All right, so we agree with Book.
And
is Steph still in?
Yeah, Steph's still in.
Luke, Steph, and Mitchell. Them the only three that are locked. The other three.
I think Dame is.
Yes, I'm sorry. Dame is in too.
I'd throw De'Aaron Fox in there as well.
But
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now, Chill. And does he need to make All NBA? Doesn't matter for a second, third team for his money.
Doesn't matter as long as he's an All NBA performer. Doesn't matter.
I don't see how Tatum's out. I don't see 6 guys that are going to get because Ja. You're right. It's not about who's better. Shea's probably in, by the way, too. Yes, thank you, chat. But because of his other stuff, the media that votes him in probably won't give him as much love as maybe he deserves for his on the court stuff. So I think he's top 6. I think he makes
it. Ticket. We can't make the I'm sorry, Ticket, if I interrupt.
I disagree with that point Floyd just made. I think that they're trying to resurrect him, which is why they didn't hit him with the hammer and totally obliterate the rest of the Memphis Grizzlies season.
That's the NBA. That's the NBA versus the media. 2 different things.
No, I'm with you. Okay, I feel what you're saying, but listen, man. I'm gonna tell you, bro. I think it's gonna be hard for Jaylen Brown to do it in all NBA, bro. Bro, listen, and the one dude y'all said that should be a lock. He should be questionable this year, even though he put up those numbers. They had no effect, and that's Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic should be a question this year, bro.
So if that's true,
I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead, Ticket. Keep going, Ticket. Keep going.
Because didn't LeBron James average 30 a couple years ago and didn't make All NBA because his team was trash?
He did make the All NBA team. Third team All NBA. He did make the All NBA. Third team. He did make the All NBA team. Well, that's the same, and that's the same logic, Ticket, that I was going to ask you about Dame. I mean, Dame led the league in scoring since January 1st, only except Portland is at the bottom of the Western Conference. But then Drew Holiday is going to make the All NBA team, and he's on a team that's in first place. Well, wait a minute, we can't have it.
He's been killing, man, and Giannis been hurt some games. Middleton was out half the season, coming off the bench. He ain't been the same. Nope. Holiday was that thing down, bro. And we talking about both ends of the court. We talking about he's elite defensively. Then he stepped these off. I think they're going to praise that this year. The same way he got into the All-Star game, bro. I think they're going to praise that this year with the media. I think the media is really going to respect what Drew Holiday brought to the table this year, bro.
Now, just so you know. Now, just so you know, Ticket, hit the difference between him making the All NBA team and him not making the All NBA team is $100 million, right?
So isn't that the same thing with Ja Morant too?
It's 100. It's Ja, Brown, and Pascal Siakam. If those 3 guys, I think Pascal Siakam actually gains the most. It's either him or Brown. If those 3 guys make All NBA, they get the biggest jump.
Yeah, they get the max contract.
Jaylen the best of all 3.
And understand something too, Big Ox. Now, remember, I'm not trying to hear letting Jaylen Brown walk out the front door. I'm not doing that. So one of 2 things is gonna have to happen. You either pay him, we got to come to an agreement and pay him, or you move him this summer. And if you move him this summer, depending on what Boston does at the end of this year, what do you think Jaylen Brown's price tag is? If you consider him moving him, what is his price tag? Because again, I ain't interested in moving him. I'm keeping him and Jaylen. I'm keeping him and Jason Tatum together.
Trae Young in a pick.
How many?
Trae Young in 1 pick.
I do not want Trae Young in Boston. No.
I don't know. I don't know the team record though either plays as big of a role though. Like I was just looking back, and I didn't have to go far. 2018-19, Blake Griffin made 3rd team All NBA, and his Pistons were 41-41. Right. So I don't like in 8th place. So maybe.
What does all that have to do? You think that has to do a little bit with just, you get that veteran exception. You've done it for so long that you got a bigger name. We hate it, but it's something that happens.
This season, I'm voting on you this season. I don't care what you're going to do later. I don't care what you do after. I don't care. I'm saying if I'm going by the rules, I don't care what you do in the playoffs, even though I do care. But it's like it's a regular season award for what you did this season.
Yes, you do, though, Tone. Yes, you do care. And the reason why you care is because and the reason why you care is because when we come on here earlier, you tell me who your league MVP is coming up. And the reason why you telling me that is because of what he did last year and what you anticipate him doing this season. So it's not just what he's doing this coming season. That's not true, Tone. It's about everything. What he did last year, what he's doing going forward. That's what's got you to pick Giannis or to pick Joker or to pick this guy. That's what has you picking the All-NBA team, because you going off what this dude did last year and what you think he's going to do this coming season.
But that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an award for this season. What did I do from game 1 to game 82 this season? That's what it's supposed to be. Everything you said is true and correct, and it plays a factor, and I'm with you. But it's supposed to be, I don't care what you did in the offseason. I don't care what you did in the playoffs. I don't care what you did in the preseason. From game 1 to game 82, what did you do? That's all it's meant to be. You're right. That's not what it ends up being. So change it. Make it what you said. But it's not.
Flo, you said something about the media. And y'all not taking this into context, I think, Jaylen Brown. The media may be against him because he took Kyrie Irving's back on that whole situation. So, and he's still been vocally on that. Like, you know what I'm saying that Kyrie was wrong and that, the Brooklyn Nets were out of their rights to suspend him. So you never know how the media could try to get back, and they could try to hurt his pockets based off that. So you bringing up the media, that was a great point. But I think we overlooking that for Jaylen Brown too, bro.
You think it's gonna be a negative? Because if you want to look at the negatives, there's that, and then do they want 2 Celtics?
You go stand beside.
Tatum's in, right? Tatum's in. We all agree Tatum's in. So maybe it's like, hey, let me see. Remember there was a time. Do you remember there was a time, once upon a time, where you needed a player from every team in the All-Star game? You remember
that was going on in the NBA? I don't remember that.
Yeah, you remember that? It was short-lived. Thankfully, it was short-lived.
The media can manipulate a lot of situations, but for that's petty though, Ticket. Even though I ain't saying that you're wrong, but that's so petty. The
media is petty.
They are, no question about
the media. I'm petty.
If we're talking about a guy being an all-pro, right? But I got a problem with him supporting another guy that I don't agree with their views. That's garbage right there. That's the American way.
They did the Kobe Bryant when Kobe got into trouble. The media shut him down. They stopped.
So answer your question. Oh, sorry, Ticket. Go ahead.
I just said anything about voting for MVP. So I agree with what Fluent was saying about the media, bro. I thought about it for a second. He's right. The media influence is crazy. I think they need to stop letting the media vote on so much, because the media can be swayed, and you never know, man. Some people can go to the media with a bag of money and influence anybody, and anybody in the media can be influenced. It's just like a juror, you know what I'm saying? You can be turned, you can be influenced to vote for one person, money wise, over another person. But again, I just see it as anybody that stood with Kyrie Irving, bro, you in the crosshairs, because I agree with Fluent. I think they're going to try and X Kyrie out after this season, bro. And I think that's real. And I think the fact that Jaylen Brown was the most vocal, standing with him, I think they're going to try to spank him and teach him a lesson. That's just what I think.
Yeah. No, but I'm to answer your question, Chill, like I think for sure. I think Jaylen Brown's in. I don't see how they get him out. But on the last point on the media thing, just look at what they're doing to poor Angel, man. Just look at what they're doing to poor Angel. She did the exact same thing, and she's a villain.
Don't forget about this one too.
Oh, I like that one. That one
that was nice. All right, fellas, let's transition into these few super chats that we got, and then this actually is a seamless transition into our topic of the day, the NBA CBA agreement. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to talk about how that affects the All NBA teams and the rules and stuff like that, and also just everything in general. We're gonna dive into it. Dive into it. First super chat from Skirvin. I'm not gonna try to say your last name. He said NBA players being able to invest in gambling is a red flag. How we feel about that? Now you guys do know NBA players are able to invest in other NBA teams. They're able to invest in WNBA teams and promote sports betting and cannabis companies. How do we feel about this?
The cannabis stuff.
I'm cool with the cannabis part.
Yeah, the cannabis stuff, I ain't got a problem with it. The betting part and the gambling, there's a conflict of interest there, and that could definitely be something that could be a problem in the future, because when you are gambling or you investing in a company that's gambling, well, you could not necessarily sway somebody else, but you could definitely manipulate situations where your company or your backing makes this company a bigger deal, and you can get guys to possibly come over to where you are. I'm not really feeling the whole logic of investing in gambling, because again, I think that is a red flag.
I don't like the fact that just that when you let people get involved in certain things, it opens up the doors for all types of like underworld activities. You know what I'm saying, that you don't want a lot of these guys getting involved in. You know, it brings in that dark element that's, you know, that a lot of, you know, that you don't expect most people to, you know, be able to handle anyway. There's just room, like I said, for all types of underworld activities, extortion, fixed games, all types of stuff. And you know, it's not necessary, if you ask me.
I'll say this: I love the idea of them investing in WNBA teams. I love that idea, and I think it's long overdue. That's amazing. The cannabis thing, like they said, well, heck, they're not even testing for it anymore. No problem there. Investing in sports betting is a problem. We just saw an NFL guy, I know it's a different sport, but who gambled, and immediate suspension for a year. If a basketball player gambles, it's an immediate suspension on basketball. Right. So to now have their name, image, and likeness associated with whatever betting, like, are they going to exclude the games that they play in? Because if they don't, just imagine. So you have Bet 123 sponsored by Dame Lillard, and he's got his big face there going, yeah, come bet on the Portland Trailblazers to win a game. Oh, the spread's 7. Like, there's way too much. There's way too much gray area. Way too much.
Let me challenge you on your first statement. So you cool if players go to the game smelling like weed?
Am I cool with it?
Because some of the coaches smoke too. I'm just gonna tell you. But are you cool with the players going to the game smelling like weed? Because I've seen a lot of people upset about it, saying it's not professional. It's gonna ruin the league. It's gonna have the league a bunch of weed heads. But I mean, dudes are already getting high before the game, anyways. But I mean, would you be cool if you had a team go out on the court and they smell like weed?
I am old school, so I would say for me, no. But I have to understand where we are now. So, you know, when I was their age, you had to go find a dude and he gave you a little, you know, tinfoil wrapped up little, but it's not like that anymore. You can go to a store and buy it. So it's very
legal.
Different. It's legal, yeah.
It's
so
legal now.
And it's not a performance enhancer.
I'm saying, I'm just saying, because of the stench of it and stuff like that.
But I think you listen, I disagree here, but for the most part, the players that I know and have talked to, it helps with pain relief after the fact, not necessarily before the game. So maybe it's after the game. And again, if they come smelling, I guess that's every other job. I have people smelling like that coming to work. So
I mean, it sounds like it's an integrity thing more than anything, to be honest with you.
If they're not testing for it anyways, then it's legal. Let them go. I see what you're saying, though, Ticket. I don't. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't like it, but whatever.
Fluent, to circle back around to the WNBA thing, I do think the NBA players actively investing in the WNBA will stimulate them in terms of their growth. They'll support more. They'll be at games more. They'll make announcements more. They'll be in the mix more. And obviously, them investing millions will add up to a collective sum that will really just enhance the league in total. So I believe that the WNBA is next.
Yeah, let's get them some chartered flights, man. They fly in commercial like it's the 60s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, let's get them chartered flights. Just look at what a difference. It's unfortunate, obviously, what happened, but Kobe started going to games, talking about the WNBA, and that was one player with an immediate uptick. Imagine if, you know, every team has 3 or 4 players that are like financially invested. It can only help the game. And Toronto WNBA team coming. I'm there.
Plus, you invest in overall in the league because, again, don't get me wrong, the WNBA is the subsidy of the NBA, no doubt about that. But you also investing in the league. So if you investing in the WNBA, you investing in the NBA as well. So you're gonna get your bread back. Yeah, and you're gonna make money. So yeah, I'm feeling that.
Hey, I'm gonna ask y'all a question though. Do y'all think that it's not fair though that we see Ron said something about, you know, the guys? Maybe Marsh can answer this too, but maybe. Do y'all think it's unfair that we don't see more girls going to the men's games supporting the men? It's like we all see the men at the women's games, but we never see the women highlighted at the men's games, like supporting the men. Like you never see see Brittany Griner at a men's game supporting the men, supporting the Phoenix Suns team and stuff like that. You never see none of these other top women at the men's game supporting the men. It's always the men supporting the women. And then you have a situation like Kyrie. He's supporting all these women, and they all trash him. The girl going ESPN and trashing Kyrie when he over there handing them money, trying to help them stay afloat. So to me, it should be a two-way street. To me, the women should be out there supporting the men too. And that, to me, that will help promote the women, because if you're at the game and they're actually showing you on the TV, saying your name and stuff like that, that helps promote you too, because it's going to be more eyes on the men. But you don't pull up to no NBA Finals game and see a whole bunch of WNBA players out there. And to me, that's sad. To me, the league should offer these women tickets to come to the game and then promote that. You understand what I'm
What about the women that are playing overseas during the men's game, the men's season?
Well, I was going to say there's a lot of them that have to play overseas to make money. But I was going to say I actually see a number of WNBA players at the games, but for the most part, they don't call them out because some of them don't even know who they are, which is part of the problem. But then you also have WNBA players like Candace Parker and Toronto, obviously Kia Nurse, who are actually they're reporting on the games. They're there all the time. So I think a mixture of them, I think, is to your point, Tiki, yes, they need to promote it more and show it more 100%. But also the NBA doesn't need it as much as the women's game needs the help right now.
That's where I was going with it.
No, I'm saying women.
I hear what you're saying, but
no, I'm saying they want the men that support them and push their league. To me, the majority of them that's in the States need to pull up to the game. And the NBA needs to get in a coalition to be able to promote them. So when they got these big games on TV, especially going to the playoffs, because the WNBA season is going to start after the NBA season's over with. So they're here in the States. They should be on the TV at these games. And the NBA, just like they be showing the celebrities, they should be showing these women which teams they're on, promoting these women, and getting ready to promote for the season coming along. Because guess what? When it comes playoff time for the women, you see all the men that's there. They promote all the men NBA players that are at those games. So why not do the same?
Even in the summertime,
a bunch of NBA players though. For me, it do. You'll get your handful that go every now and again, but it's not like all the NBA players are just pulling up to WNBA games. You might got 10, 15 of them that you might sprinkle out through the summer, but it's not like these guys are just overly.
No, but you got the big dogs.
That's what I was getting ready to say too, Big Ox, because you'll pull up a WNBA game and you'll see Dame Lillard in Vegas, right? You'll pull up a WNBA game. You'll see James in Los Angeles. Like you'll see these dudes.
It also depends where the team is too, right? Because you got a WNBA team in Iowa. No one's going.
You'll see Cat though. You'll see Cat in Minnesota. Like
yeah. That's what I'm saying. As long as they stay where the NBA.
Just back to Fluent's point though. It's like you'll see them if you watch them, but they're not like the announcers aren't shouting them out like they shout out Chris Paul because
they don't recognize the TV crew, like the cameramen. Let's be honest, don't know them. So they don't know to say, hey, look who that in the crowd. Go put a camera on them. They don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it right
there.
So
to Ticket's point, maybe they should make a point of saying, hey, whoever it happens to be is going to be in the in the crowd today. This is where they're sitting. Make sure that we do that and promote it and say, hey, don't forget, WNBA season starts in 2 weeks. Whatever. Yeah, maybe.
I do agree with you though, Ticket. I think there should be more of a camaraderie between both leagues though. I think it would help build the WNBA. But also I think Mars, was that you I was talking about it with just yesterday. Like maybe I think it was you or PSP. The WNBA is just 25 years old. So you gotta remember where the NBA was 25 years into, where they were going. I think the WNBA is definitely trending up. You said what?
When the plumbers was there.
Yeah. But for the same reasons, just like how WNBA players have to do stuff during the off season. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't got all the marketing dollars that like just like the NBA had when they started. Those cats had to have other jobs because they weren't making millions of dollars yet. It wasn't because of their ability.
Compare the WNBA today to the NBA in what, the 70s would have been 25 years?
Early 70s, yeah.
Early 70s?
72.
I bet you the WNBA is doing better than the NBA was doing in the 70s.
So Parker is essentially. Can I ask y'all a quick question about this CBA thing? Because I know Ron not gonna ask about this because he thought about this right here. But don't y'all think? And we speak about the WNBA. It made me think about this. Like in the WNBA, when the women go to the lockers after the game, it has to be a time period before any male reporters go in the locker room. Right or wrong?
30 minutes.
Right now, I'm gonna tell y'all something that bothered me the other day. Now, we all remember this thing that happened with Ime and the allegations that we never got to hear from, what I'm saying? We never heard from Ime on this situation, but it was also they didn't want nobody to know about the woman who was involved, right? But we see things that bother me that say, you know what, this could cause issue. Now, I saw a video that I don't know if you guys saw it. It came up it was on House of Highlights, on YouTube. And LeBron was doing a post-game interview. The man didn't have any clothes on, towels on. And he got women standing up on him, and like he ain't got nothing on but a towel.
I thought they stopped that. They didn't stop doing this.
No, listen. But I'm thinking, shouldn't they put in a rule for the men as well? Because that protects you, because now a woman can come back and say, like 10 years later or 15 years later or next week and say, I felt uncomfortable in the locker room. LeBron did this to me. LeBron did that. Because remember, they had that situation with that boy in San Antonio where that woman alleged that he did something to him or did something to her. And I'm just saying, I looked at that thing with LeBron.
That wasn't.
He pulled out her.
No.
And it wasn't alleged. He got cut for that.
No. But I'm saying that, but a person could come allege something like that, a woman. And you got this video right there of LeBron in the locker room with a towel on. Maybe he's not doing anything. But to me, in the CBA, they should have put a new regulation in, because the men, they can't go in the women's locker room. Let me go in the women's locker room 5 minutes after they finish.
You know what? Honestly, I don't even think it's a man-woman thing. I think I'm going to everybody should just stay out. Let the team have their time to do what they need to do, and then men and women. I don't want anybody in there. Let me get. After the game, you got 30 minutes before you could go into the locker room, a half an hour. I think that's more than enough time for me to get cleaned up, right? Get cleaned up and get dressed. I never was a fan. I take longer, I got to get.
Even if you do got to get clean. So I was never a fan. Even when I played basketball in college, I was never a fan of watching people come into the locker room with cameras. First of all, when these people come into the locker room, you inviting me into your house. You're not inviting me into your house, and I ain't gonna be dressed. No. Let me put some clothes on. Let me get cleaned up if you're going to stick a camera in my face. That's
we talk about professionalism and smelling like weed, imagine, right? Hey, Ron, just quickly, I know you got to move on, but I just want you to ask you a question. Jay, don't answer this because I already asked you this question. Do you know who Normie Glick is?
I have no clue.
Well, because you mentioned plumbers. He's the only actual plumber to ever play in the NBA. He only played one game.
How did he do in the game?
He actually did horrible. Which is why he only played one game.
All right, fellas, let's keep it pushing. Jeremiah Smith with a super chat. He said, "Y'all think AD makes All NBA as a 4?"
I love this.
He's
yes,
27-12.
Yes.
How we feeling about it?
Is he not a 5? I thought he was just gonna go in as a 5.
I think he's a 5 too, and I still think he makes the All NBA team.
Sorry, Sabonis.
Say it again, Ticket.
No, it's not possible.
How many games did he play this year?
If he finishes these last 3, they play Utah tomorrow. They play the Clippers on. There's 4 games left. So if he finished, I think he'll have 55 games under his belt.
Yeah, he's got 52 right now.
Yeah. How many games is the limit right now? 58.
There is no minimum.
No. Because there's a minimum for that to get into the percentages, like stats, like the scoring. Remember, LeBron could have broke the scoring record of the year if he played enough games. I forgot.
58.
That's why Anthony Davis right now. I think he's second in the league in blocks, but because of the games, he's not in the top 5 in blocks because of that. What you just said, right? So I think also with points too. That's why he's not as high as he could be. Because of the amount of games that he's played, but I think he's All NBA. I think he's on the All League defensive team too.
Y'all don't think that'll affect his status of being voted to the All NBA because he's been playing up? Okay.
I don't think
y'all can't tell me right now that y'all gonna put AD over DeMontis. It's not possible. It's not possible.
I'm putting AD over DeMontis.
And what are you basing? Just because he played more? That's it. Are you basing that Big Ox? Now, first of all, Big Ox, take your fan hat off for a second. I need you to be objective. Be objective. Are we basing this on Anthony Davis not playing as much as Sabonis? Because again, if we talk, I think he played. I think Sabonis has almost 70 games, so I think he played 15 more games, something like that. Now, in the process of him playing that, Anthony Davis is still in the top. I think he's in the top 3 on the top 2 in the league in rebounding, and I think he leads the league in blocks if they counted that, considering the games that he played.
He's not. It's not going to be counted as he won't be the block leader because even if he plays the last 4 games for the Lakers, he'll have played in 56 games. So he's going to miss it by 2 games. But they don't care when it comes to all NBA and all defense because you have like Pippen in 98 played 44 games or 97, one of those years, and made the all defensive team. So they don't care how many games you played. Clearly,
okay. So from an argument. Exactly. He played with a broken bone.
He's played 76 or 78.
76. He's been playing with a broken bone in his hand. Never complained about it. Never showed up to the press conference with his whole arm wrapped up. You know, won't say no names. He never did none of that. And in doing that, he averaged 20, 13, and 8.
Yo, I gotta say, y'all
hype up Jokic for his triple doubles. DeMontis is averaging 20, 13, and 8. No, that's not a triple double.
I got to step in.
19, 12, and 7. Because you're a Kings fan, you literally rounded everything up.
So what? But it is 20 though.
19 is 19. 7.2 is 7. 12.4 is 12. Don't you dare give him every single thing rounded up, Fox.
Yo, but Fluent though, because I got to step in because I'm not a Kings fan. I do love the Kings, but I'm not a Kings fan. But I got to step in and say, yeah, AD might be leading the league in blocks. Yeah, he might average more points. But it's 3 things we got to factor in. Sabonis leads the league in rebounds.
Correct.
Other than
and he has the same amount of rebounds per game as AD.
Other than an all-time great center, that's a passer, Jokic. He's the best passing big in the league. He averages 7 assists.
That is fair.
So we have to give him that. On top of that, the Kings have exceeded expectations greatly.
This is an MVP though.
It's not. But I mean, it's all NBA. He should be in
an MVP
average. Look, it depends on what one averages 6 or 7 more points a game. The other averages 4 or 5 more assists. Even as a Laker fan, I'm going Sabonis because he's going to play 80 games. He's all the other things that you guys already said. I'll go Sabonis, but someone's going to make a case for AD because if you're starting,
the case for Sabonis to me is the fact that he's played like 25 more games, and that's
I'm picking Sabonis.
If he makes it, I'm not going to object.
Someone's going to make the case for AD.
That's and go ahead. I'm sorry, Big Ox.
No, you got it.
That's the case right there because I mean, Ticket brought this point up like a month ago. If you look at what the Lakers have done since they started like 2-20, since they started 2-10, I think they something like 10 games over 500 when AD is in the lineup. When he's playing a 9-0 when he's 40, when he scored 40 again, when he scored 40 points, they 9-0. So with that being said, they've been winning with him in the lineup since then, and his production has proven that. So if we're talking about Sacramento exceeding expectations, I mean, Anthony Davis has actually met expectations when he's healthy as an All-NBA performer.
I found a picture of Sabonis when the last time the Kings made the playoffs.
He was up here in Portland. Hey,
he was. He was pretty good. Sorry, my bad.
Can I interject real quick? Somebody in the chat says that Sabonis is clearly faking an injury. I want to point that out because that just shows how soft the NBA is because he's playing through his injuries, and every time AD sneezes, he got to go take a seat. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's there's a
hold on, no, Big Ox. We saw something the other night though that kind of gave me some encouragement. He encouraged me a little bit because when he rolled that ankle Ticket, I thought he was over. I thought the season was over. I thought he was done. I was like, there we go again. It's a wrap.
I'll tell you like this. AD needs to get a sponsorship from my dog.
But he got back. But he got back up, and he came back in the game because the way he was holding his ankle, I was like, he's done. He's out for a month.
They took you and Fluent on that.
Oh my God! I thought it was over.
You here talking all this smack, Fluent? This boy can't walk straight.
Oh my goodness!
He doesn't know how to land, bro. He does not know how to land.
He's too big for that.
Too clumsy.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and transition into our topic of the day: the new NBA CBA rules. The first thing that I want to highlight on this is, and we got a bunch of things to talk about, but the first thing I want to highlight is that the All NBA teams will be transitioning into a positionless All NBA team. How do we feel about that?
It's about time. Embiid
why do you love it?
Embiid's come second in MVP the last 2 years and has made second team All NBA because the person who came first was also a center. To me, the All NBA teams, the way it's designed, it should always just be the best 15 players in the world. it hasn't been that because it's been position locked. So you've ended up with guys like DeAndre Jordan making all NBA teams when they've never been close to that level of player. Now you just have the best 15 guys. So the first team could be all forwards theoretically, and you could have no guards. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't just be actual 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center, because then you don't have the 15 best guys in the world. And like we've seen for contracts, this is big for how much money people can make. And you're taking away from people's money based on the position they play. And I think that's just wrong.
So what do you suggest they call it then, Mars? Because then that's not a team. If you have 5 centers on the first All-NBA team, that's not a team. That's 5 centers. So should they change the name to just All-NBA players? All-NBA?
Yes, All-NBA players, yes.
Okay. All-NBA groups.
All-NBA first team. Can't say first team. All-NBA first.
All-NBA first group, All-NBA second group, All-NBA group.
And that's why I disagree. And the reason why I disagree with you, Mars, is because that's how we separate the best players. That's why when you got a guy who's a first team All-NBA performer, a guy who's a second team All-NBA performer, a guy who's a third team All-NBA performer, the fact that Joker made All-NBA over Embiid, well, that means that you got to perform better. Well, how much better? You have to perform better. That's why Olajuwon had to perform better. That's why Shaq had to perform better. That's why Kobe Bryant had to perform better. And that's why Ray Allen had to perform better to stay up there with Kobe Bryant. So when you take out the positions, now what you're doing is you're lessening my value as a 2-guard. You're lessening my value as a 4-man. You're lessening my value as a 5-man. But when you keep those in, now what we're doing is we still are distinguishing who the best 5-man is. We're distinguishing who the best 4-man is. Now, I want you to make sure we clear. Mars, that even though the All-NBA team is a guy having an A season, but when you're doing it multiple times, we now have legit conversations about who the best player is. To do it one time is one thing, but when I'm doing it 5, 6, 7 years, now we having a legit conversation. Yo, he's better than him because he's a first-team All-NBA performer 5 times. This guy is only a second-team All-NBA performer 2 times. I think that there's a difference, and I don't like it.
So chill. Let me ask you a question then. See, I'm just asking questions. I haven't told you how I feel yet, but let me ask you a question then. So let's say the best 2 players in the league, let's just say, are both centers. Both centers. Now, one plays a very different style than the other. Why should one be relegated to second team and the other first team when they're the 2 best players? And now you have a forward who's maybe the 7th best player on the first team when he's not even a top 5 player in the league.
Well, it depends on who you have at the 5 spot. So if you got 2 5-men that are the 2 best players, well, both of you guys can't be the best player. So it has to be one of you guys. That's what I mean when I say you're lessening my value at the 4 spot. You lessening my value at the 3 spot. So for example, when Jordan and Drexler were going at it for All-NBA. Well, the reason why that worked is because it was 2 guards. It wasn't just the 2 guard. It was 2 guards. That's why Drex was able to make first team All-NBA that year in 1992, right? But if you got the center spot, only one of us can be the best center in the game. It can't be, Joel Embiid is the 2nd best player in the game, or Olajuwon is the 2nd best player in the game. Olajuwon might be one of the best players in the game, but to be the 2nd best player in the game, you have to still beat this guy out.
But you get the top 2 guards, you get the top 2 forwards, and you only get the top 1 center. Well, teams are playing with 4 guards and 1 center, 3 forwards and no center. That worked when you say historically, but you're bringing up a historical. Did
we lose him?
We can't hear you.
Tom, we just thought. No.
I just don't like the idea that you can be better than 4 people on the All-NBA first team and not make it because of the position you play. I think maybe it does minimize how good you are at your position. That's fine, but I think if you're the 2 best players in the world, you should both be All-NBA first team. I don't care what position you play. I don't like the idea.
What it's going to do is, Mars, it's going to eradicate what they're doing already, trying to eradicate the big man. That's why the big man is an endangered species in the NBA.
That's what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening. Now what you're doing is this. You're taking away all the big dudes who really want to be big men, and you're taking them out of the game now. You're making these dudes all try to be Dirk Nowitzki, all try to be Rasheed Wallace. You're not having no true big men anymore. That's why Joel Embiid and Jokic and these dudes, that's why I don't be thinking that them cats is MVP, because at that center position, they really don't have no comp. You got like 3 guys you're looking at the whole season. Other than that, you're playing against a whole bunch of mid-level to low-level centers compared to them, and big men. So to me, in order to promote that, I think we should keep those positions, and I think that was very important because those positions they battling out to get those spots for those positions. Now, you know what I'm saying, bro? To me, it's going, man. To me, the way the league is going, bro, it seems like it's going to be down. It's going to be like how J. Kidd like to play, like all small ball. And I don't like that, man. I hate it when Mike D'Antoni did it, and I hate it now, bro. I wish they went back because, like, I like how the Lakers play big when they won a championship in the bubble. I wish it went back to how it used to be. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, real basketball, man. Because now all we doing is getting into jacking up a bunch of threes, running up down the court, jacking up a bunch of threes, jacking up a bunch of jump shots. And it's like Kareem said the other day, like, you know, Curry can do it, but now everybody's trying to do what Curry's doing. It's killing.
Like can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Tom. Go ahead.
But see that what Ticket you said, that's cyclical though. Right now, what's happening is that's what's happening. And you know what's going to happen? Another team's going to come in with a big and they're going to win and they're going to say, oh, that's the way we should play. And they'll go back to it. So I think that changes, but there's obviously like, there's no more centers. There's no more centers that just back up to the basket anymore. They're expected they're expected to do stuff. So to try and my question was that I think, I don't know if you guys heard it was, if you can get two guards, two forwards, and the center, well, the center's then getting. Why does the center only get one position? If we're playing with two bigs, if I'm playing with Cat and Gobert, we're calling one a power forward, but they're two centers.
No, they're not, though. No, they're not, Tom. No, they're not. Because Cat came into the no, they're not. Because when Cat came into the NBA, Cat played the four at Kentucky, right? And coming into the NBA, he was a four-man. And the reason why
how you compare Jokic to someone who's a post center, they're so different in their skill sets.
But see, that's the thing, though, Tone. That's where the competition comes in, right? So Olajuwon wasn't looking at you and going, "Well, both of us can make the All NBA." No, that's the competition aspect of it. That's where David Robinson was looking at Shaq. That's where
those two guys. Okay, so those two guys looked at each other and said, "We both can't make first team," but Barkley and Malone said, "We both can."
That because it's two forwards. That's the idea. Because the
centers just have an inherent disadvantage. There's just less of them who can make it. Even when they're more talented, there's less of them that can make it. But I think we're focusing too much just on the bigs. There's been players who have missed out, like Jaylen Brown. We just argued 20 minutes ago, is he a guard or a forward? And those problems come in. People vote him as a guard, other people vote him as a forward, and he doesn't get both of those votes. So he might not have enough votes as a forward because other people voted him as a guard, and then he doesn't make it. Now, if you just vote him in general, he makes it regardless. And that's also another problem where you got guys like.
When you say that, is he better than Shea? No.
He doesn't. No, but my point is he doesn't need to.
No, but is he better than
Shea and Jaylen Brown?
Is he better than Siakam? Yes. So which category is it? Because
now if you just vote him, he makes it.
Stop that fluent. I don't know that fluent.
I don't know. He's better than Shea.
I do.
I don't know fluent. I don't know fluent because Siakam putting up numbers, bro.
He's putting up numbers in the first 3.5 quarters, and then he disappears in the end of the fourth, and he plays no defense.
But Jaylen Brown did nothing in Boston, fluent.
Jaylen Brown has been known to do that too, though, Tone. Jaylen Brown has been a guy who plenty of times he'll start the game, he'll give you 25 points, and you won't hear from him for the rest of the game.
But he plays defense. But he plays defense.
He definitely plays deep, and then when Jason goes to sleep, Jaylen Brown steps up. Jaylen Brown has carried.
Look, I'm not saying he clears him. It's close. Right. But my example is, well, as a guard, you'll say Shea is better, but as a forward, I'll say he's better than Siakam. Mm-hmm. So a guy that plays, we have so many players that are playing in these weird situations. Like, again, I'll use the Raptors as an example. They start 4 forwards. Now, one is called a point guard, one is called a center, but they're 4 forwards. They're 6'8", 6'9" forwards, all playing on the wings, all bringing up the ball. So how do you distinguish who's the shooting guard, who's for these awards?
Okay. Do that. You know what? Okay, Fluent, we go with that. Ron, put that comment back up on the screen you just put up on. So then they should do that then. They should do that then.
Yes.
No. Go back to the other one, Ron. You just had. If they're gonna do what you just said, Fluent, guess what? Then these Lakers that you run around here screaming and hollering and capping for, they shouldn't even be in the playoff picture because of their record, because they wouldn't be one of the top teams in the NBA. So if they do that, if they're taking the positions out, they should take out the conferences and make it they should make the best teams get in. They should make it the top 6.
You're right, Tick. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
So let's get rid of positions. Let's get rid of the Eastern Conference Championship, the Western Conference Championship, the top 15 teams, and the top 15 teams or the top 16 teams make the playoffs. Right. Period.
They're doing it slowly. What the playing tournament has done
Let's do that. Let's do that. My Lakers are 14th and moving up, so they'd be in the top.
But the season's not over with. Hold on, the season's not over with. They can still end up ninth.
They're going to be 6 over.
No, I'm saying, but the season's not over with.
I don't like how they doing it, how they changing it to position list. But if they do change it to position list, just like Ticket said, I agree. If you're gonna knock that out, go all the way.
I agree with that too. No, I agree with that too. Because so many times the actual NBA final should have been the Western Conference final, and the East Conference team had no business being there. I agree with that. Every time they get swept,
and now how it's not like back in the day,
right,
when travel was actually a problem back in the day because
no, it's not.
Yeah, when it was commercial.
Now you can make these flights
private jets, no problem.
It's no big deal. Like what's the difference? What's the difference between an hour and a half flight and a 2 hour and 45-minute flight? It's no difference.
Absolutely, you should get rid of it. That's long overdue. Chill. If a team gets swept in the playoffs, what do you say?
They're not close to winning it. I don't care where they get swept at. If you get swept in the first round or the NBA championship, they ain't close.
There you go.
Yo, fellas, let's transition into something else that was in the new 7-year CBA agreement. We've talked about it a little bit, but we haven't really went in depth in it. It's a full in-season tournament. I'm going to give you some of the details. This tournament will begin in the 2023-24 season. It will be pool play games baked into regular season scheduling. Starting in November, 8 teams advance to a single elimination tournament in December. The Final Four will be held at a neutral site, which will most likely be Las Vegas. I will probably say Seattle, but it'll probably be Vegas. Each in-season tournament game would count towards the regular season standings, and the final 2 teams would ultimately play 83 regular season games. The winning players and coaches are earned an additional prize pool of $500,000. How do we feel about this in-season tournament?
Bullshit.
One more time for the people. One more time for the people in the cheat sheet. They hear you back.
You got a tournament where dudes are trying to play less game right now. Now
hold
you go for the tournament.
let me give you tickets. Hold on, this is for ticket.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Bro, man, look, everybody like the NBA how it was, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, you play the top, you go through the 82 games. The top teams get in. The only difference I think they needed to make was the games that needed to be played. You know what I'm saying, as far as to be able to qualify. Because now you're talking about dudes' money. You're talking about dudes' career status as far as their awards. This means a lot to a lot of these dudes because there's money that's tied into if you make these certain teams and stuff like that. As far as all this other foolishness, that ain't nothing but a money grab for the NBA, man. It's to me, they're gonna get rid of this, and like they're gonna want to get rid of this because once coaches want to start load managing during the tournament or players get hurt during that tournament, they're gonna be pissed at the league now because they're gonna say we didn't even need this, and now we've lost a player due to this whack tournament that doesn't even help us win the championship at the end of the season.
Yeah, what you get for winning?
What they should be doing
$500,000.
$500,000 per player on the winning team, which is great for the low-level guys. The high-level guys won't care.
That's what they need to do, Fluent. Just let the youngsters let them play.
Well, I was going to say, that they're expanding. We're going to be like 36, 37, 38 teams. I've told you this already, guys. So what they do is like Ask Mars, like the Premier League. All the bottom 10 teams, they can have a tournament. And if you're the bottom, you go into the G League and you got to work your way back up.
Hey, Fluent. That's somebody gonna steal that shit you just said. Somebody gonna steal. Hey, Ron, mark that right there. Somebody gonna steal that idea because I was just thinking about what Fluent said, but not exactly what he said. Like it's for real. I think the teams that don't make the playoffs, I think that those teams should play in the tournament, and I think that the team that wins the tournament should get the number 1 overall pick the next year, and then they should be in the order of the winner, runner up, all that. That way you can X out the tanking. Now send me my money, Adam Silver, and send Fluent his money for.
I was going to say, whoever steals that idea,
make sure that if we see this in 2 years, I need to hold something.
Unlike TNT, give us our credit.
Facts.
Give us our credit.
Make sure that in 2 years.
I was here for the creation of this, so you know what I'm saying. Just throw me a quick little, 5-10%. You know what I'm saying. Look out for me.
First of all, I always felt like pro basketball, pro baseball, and pro hockey are the only sports that have the undisputed heavyweight champ. Like if you beat somebody once, anybody can beat somebody one time. You beat somebody 4 times, you're the heavyweight champ. We get this in-season tournament where San Antonio or Houston, who's 40 games under 500, get hot and run off 8 straight. Next thing you know, we got people thinking, yo, Houston can win the NBA championship. Get the hell out of here.
We can.
Give me a break, man.
Versus Rockets. But let's be honest, right? One, it's for money, right? It's for ratings. How do they get their money? A TV deal, right? And they're trying to take from what are we all doing? What did we all do the last 2 weeks? We're watching March Madness. So they're trying to take their little piece of that too. They don't need to.
Fellas, though, I think I might be the only person up here who is excited about an in-season tournament.
You are.
Now, hear me out. This is why. Maybe I just have a false notion. With me being a hooper, I know every time I laced up my shoes, it was action. It was all. I'm competing. I don't care. I don't care if I'm playing against high schoolers or I don't care if I'm playing against Jamal Crawford and Brandon Roy in a Seattle Pro-Am tournament. But with that being said, I just expect these players to compete at a high level when they do. Now, if it's going to be that, this tournament's going to be cracking.
For sure.
Mark my words, it's going to be crazy. But with how we know how these players are and how the NBA is, it might just be the younger guys. But if we do get a competitive younger guy tournament where, let's say a couple vets sit out, Jason Tatum might sit out, let's say Jaylen Brown plays, Giannis sits out, but you still got Drew Holiday and things like that. KD and Chris Paul sit out, but Devin Booker still plays. How do we feel about that tournament? Do we like it, or is it just like, man, get that out of here?
Waste your time, because if you ain't got the best guys out there, ain't nobody trying to see no up and coming prospect. You know what I'm saying?
Would you watch a G League tournament?
No.
Ron, would you watch a G League tournament?
I've been to a couple G League games this year, so I like to.
Would you? No, you didn't.
I was watching the G League playoffs. I was watching the G League playoffs just the other day. So, all
right, then they should do that. Do a G League tournament. Do an in-season G League tournament. The winning team, all of those players get their contracts guaranteed for the season. Done.
This my thing. This my thing though. Like,
you're welcome, Adam.
There's a lot of it might not be the same amount of people, but there is a market though. There is a lot of people that would still like to watch. Some of the younger players. Then even cats that just don't get enough a lot of minutes. It's cool for them. I'm not mad at it.
Put all the two-way players and all them into that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily excited for it. Like I'm cool either way. I don't think it hurts. That's what I say. I don't think it hurts.
All right, fellas, let's go. Is everybody done? Does anybody else want to speak on anything else regarding the CBA? Do we want to talk about the 65 game limit?
I'm feeling
something
that.
It should be 7.
I'm cool with 65 ticket, and the reason why I'm cool with 65 because that's at least. I mean that's 15 games. That's almost 80% of the season. So I'm cool with that. But what I don't want to hear is I don't want to hear you talking to me about this guy being an all-time. The reason why we talk about these guys as all-time greats, number one, because they played. That's why we talk about Jabbar. That's why we talk about Jordan. That's why we talk about James. That's why we talk about all these all-time greats. Because number one, they played a lot of games. These dudes ain't playing 40, 50, 60 games, and then that's it. And we got to talk about them like we talk about the rest of these all-time greats. You need to be on the floor, and you need to be available, and you need to be producing. So the idea that you play 65 games, I'm cool with 65, but that's as far as I'm going. I ain't going lower than that.
To me, it should be 70, bro.
Talk about stuff, and we talk about all NBA player, all defensive player, and you got guys who made it with what did Bill Walton get his MVP?
47 games.
47 games.
Come on, man. That's barely half the season.
44 games.
Barely half the season.
Not enough. It's not enough.
So what's people are gonna remember 2018 when LeBron played all 82?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it might have been the last game of the season. He played, he went out there, he played, he got his 10 points and sat down. He played like 10 minutes just so he could get the 82 games on his resume. When people are around 62, 63 games, they're just going to go out there, be on the court to get to their 65 times.
You think they're going to play 10 minutes and then...
People, when they're close to 65, they're going to go out there towards the end of the season and play like 10 minutes to get to
They're not going to do that now because they're not going to hurt their averages. Those guys ain't going to... But I'm going to say this to you. That's why you got...
Three games ain't going to hurt your averages.
That's why you got these guys playing late and blowout games, the stat pad, because their averages mean a lot to them. But I'm going to say this to you, Mars. I totally disagree with what Chilltown said. I think it should be 70 games, and that's missing 12 games. And I also think the NBA dropped the ball because they should put a regulation in there that if you don't play those amount of games, you should not be eligible for the playoffs either, unless you had an injury. So if it's due to load management, no. But I'm saying because you have players now they should make them have to present evidence that they have an injury. people getting robbed, bro. Listen, they had a marquee game last night. The Nuggets against the Warriors. You know how many people probably paid money to go see? They want to go see Jokic and Curry and them play. Yeah. So now you pay money. I got Jokic on the flyer. I'm suing they ass if I paid all that damn money and I'm taking the family out. That's almost a G right there to go to an NBA basketball game right now. So with tickets, parking, food, all that, that's almost a G ball for a family of 4. So if I go out there and I don't see the best guys on the court or this dude ain't playing, bro, nah, man. I think that the punishment should be harsher than just all NBA. I think you should not, for 65 games or less, I don't think you should be eligible for the playoffs. I'm telling you.
I'd be okay. I think that's excessive, but I would be okay with a tiered system. No, I'd be okay with a 50 games or you miss the playoffs, 60 games and you don't get whatever, 65 games, you don't get any awards. I'd be okay with that because
because if not, bro.
Award, now just expect maybe not Giannis, but I'll use him as an example. Expect Giannis, Jokic, Luka, whoever's like in those conversations, they're going to play 65 games. Don't expect them to play 80. They're going to play 65.
Real quick before we wrap it up, yo. Andrew Wiggins looked like he'd be back.
We got a couple more minutes. I'll feel you on that ticket. I'll feel you on that ticket because I used to be on the other side like 9 ain't no big deal. But then I think I wasn't on the panel yet, but I had told them about it. I did the same thing happened to me in Portland to go see the Clippers. Dame didn't play, Kawhi didn't play, PG didn't play.
That sucks.
No, you lost your money on that, bro.
I mean, like you said, it was my whole family.
Not to mention, let's say I got a nephew and I'm down here in South Florida and my nephew loved Tony Parker. San Antonio only come down here one time a year. They don't come down here 3 or 4 times. They only come down here one time a year. And my nephew loved Tony Parker. If Tony Parker ain't playing and I just bought, $150 seats and he ain't playing, I'm out $300.
Hey, and I got a remedy for that, Fluent and Chilltown. This is what the NBA should do. Any game a player load manages, they should be fined their game check. They should not be paid for that game. I guarantee that play.
You shouldn't get paid if you don't play.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
If you low manage, you shouldn't get your check.
If I come to work and I don't play, if I come to work and I don't work, I ain't getting paid for that day. I wasn't working.
Well, unless you're on salary, but are we, Ron? I don't know how we are with time because there is one other thing I want to talk about with the CBA.
We can go to about 1:15. Well, 1:15 is the hard cutoff.
So we might want to tell everybody that we're here every single day from noon till 1 Eastern.
No,
because people have been asking in the chat, so we probably want to tell everybody.
They don't know they're watching this show.
There's Friday.
There is a
noon to 1 Eastern. I mean, if we have a couple super chats, well, maybe go to 1:15. But 1:15 the show cuts off. No matter what.
Turn on your notifications.
So the secondary salary cap apron will go into effect. So teams that are spending $17.5 million or more above the league's tax line will lose their mid-level exception. Okay? So you guys got that? 17.5 million or more.
Yes.
Let me give you a little interesting information. The teams that are spending over 17 million. Maybe I'll tell you the teams that aren't. Maybe that's the easier one. San Antonio Spurs, the Detroit Pistons, Hornets, Grizzlies, Magic, Pacers. That's the 6. The only team that's under the cap is San Antonio. So you only have 6 teams that are under the 17.5 million.
Excuse me.
So there's either going to be a bunch of big name players on the move, or someone's getting some pay cuts, or they're going to have to bump up that salary cap.
You seen what happened today? You seen what just happened today, right? Steph Curry just came out today and said, I think we can keep Draymond and our whole core together. So now they're putting pressure on the organization, on the players. Look, hey, Draymond, come down off that max. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep this thing together. Steph Curry just said it today. It was breaking news on Bleacher Report. Steph Curry came out and said he thinks the Warriors can keep their core together for the future. So if that's the case, that means Draymond would have to take a pay cut. Now, I heard Draymond was complaining about the new CBA rules as far as what you just said. So I guess he was complaining because he knows that his money is going to be affected. That's a lot of money for him that's going to be affected. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to really see what Draymond's about. We're going to see if he really wants that money.
Well, let me ask you this question, Ticket. What's a fair deal for Draymond? Draymond's 34 years old. I think he'll be 35 this year. So what's a fair deal for him?
The mid-level exception.
18 million. 15 million, 15, 18 million. Man got 4 world championships. Been a big part. He should take a pay cut. He should take a pay cut. Not a major pay cut, but he should take about 3 or 4 million less a year. He should take a pay cut.
I was thinking 3 years is 75, and the reason why I'm thinking 3 years is 75 is because that's thank you money, considering what they were before he got there.
I thought he's the ultimate team guy.
That's thank you money.
You can't be team guy. I mean,
you're gonna see who the ultimate team guy is.
That's crazy. 25 a year is crazy.
Hey, that's gonna break. Hey, that rule he just said. That's going to help balance the league out again. It's going to break up a lot of teams now.
Yeah, there's going to be no more KD to the Warriors. That was actually the quote was that there's no more KD to the Warriors. That's what they're trying to stop.
Oh, they're going to stop it now.
Yep.
Now, that hurts the Lakers keeping players going forward. Because you're talking about they got to think about what they're going to do with Roy Hachimura. Austin Reeves running around here saying he wants $50 million now. I mean, then
he might be worth it too.
Then you got D'Lo want to get paid. D'Lo's they're saying they want to keep D'Lo. How much D'Lo gonna be asking for? LeBron and AD are already on max.
I mean, it works out because they're about to start expanding. So players got.
Well, that's the thing, right? When they expand, like I told you, they would, and it's gonna be 6, 7 more teams, whatever it is, 4, 6, whatever. It's gonna spread out that balance of power. They're trying to create like an NFL where a team can go from last to first. Not have to take 7 years to do it, and if you make one bad decision, you have to start all over again. So,
but Floyd, they're talking about expanding overseas.
They're trying to create more parity.
Are y'all cool with that too? They're talking about expanding. I heard they're talking about getting a team in Africa. They're talking about expanding overseas.
Mexico City. I heard Mexico City.
Yeah, Mexico City.
Until we get a team in Seattle, I ain't listening to expansion. I'm not.
No. They're going to get a team in Mexico. Mexico's right there. Like you think
today, that's a horrible idea. Today, that's a horrible idea.
Team in Mexico City already, so they've already played around with it and toyed with it.
Until the NBA gets back in Seattle, I ain't listening to no
Mexico won't happen. Mexico won't happen. One, because they're worried about safety. That's one. Two, they can barely have players who want to go play in a team in Canada that speaks the same language, that has the same TV channels. They're not going to get players who are going to go to another country that speaks a different language as their primary language.
No. That's not true.
That has different tax rules, different healthcare. They were complaining about the banks in Canada. You imagine what they're going to do with the banks in Mexico? No one's going to want to play there. One's going to play there.
In Mexico is damn near the same as in Texas or what you call, because they're right there on the border. They got the same banks. They got the same TV stations. Listen, I'm telling you, I've been there. I'm telling you.
Me too.
In Mexico City, in Mexico City, it's just like a big normal city. Like you would think Mexico City is just some bull job. No, Mexico City is like a normal big
New
city.
York. It's like New York, like Los Angeles. It's
the
biggest city in North America. I'm not saying it's not a big city, but there's too much crime, corruption. There's way too much stuff going on. They
got G League there now.
Yeah, they got a G League team. With all the respect, I would rather play in Mexico City than up there.
In Vancouver.
You're crazy.
Hey, Bob, I'm telling you right now, it's popping in Mexico City. I don't know what Floyd talking about.
I just had to talk about layover
because you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking in your vacation minds. You're not thinking about have to live somewhere. You're thinking.
No, I've lived out there. Hold on. I've lived out there. I've lived in Mexico City. I've lived in Mexico City. I've lived in Tijuana. I've lived in Cancun. I've lived in Mexicali. Bro, it's right. Listen, if you talking about like those cities is right there, like by the border of San Diego, it's Mexicali. By the border of Texas, down there at the bottom of Texas, is right there. Or excuse me, not Texas. I think it's Arizona, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Arizona.
Bro, it's all you do is cross the border, bro. Listen. A flight to Mexico City, bro. Once you get to Mexico City and like you see the city, like, yeah, this is popping. Like, it's real.
I'm not arguing. I love the city. The city's beautiful. It's just not set up for an NBA team. And all the stuff that they complain about Toronto, it's 10 times worse. The stuff they're going to have to deal with. And yes, I've lived in all those places too. I'm telling you, the infrastructure is not set up. They won't be able to handle it.
All right, fellas, we got to transition into these super chats. Let's go ahead and run through them. NBA Lanny said, Ticket is right. What do you know? The media ain't going to give him all NBA because they want to split up the Jays. Brown is going to want that super max.
Yeah.
Nashville X Ninja says, shout out Mars being real about the Ingram versus Brown debate last week. No way Brown leading this injury-riddled Pelicans team the way Ingram is.
They have looked good recently. I think that's 7-1 last 8 games. B has been playing well, but
he has been playing really well
until he stubs his toe.
Anthony Oakley said, according to Shams, the Mavericks are seriously considering shutting down Luka and Kyrie to push for a top 10 pick. What is the future for the Mavs?
That's a fool. They can still make the playoffs because
they're only
OKC,
1 game back of OKC.
Okay, listen, OKC is idiots. They keep losing. So as long as OKC keep losing, OKC has a tough schedule to finish the season. Listen, if Dallas can find a way to win out, Dallas can potentially beat these dudes and get in the play-in. So Dallas, even though Dallas tricked that, if Dallas would have won that game last night, they're still in this thing. But the fact that they lost that game and OKC keeps losing, bro, now OKC gonna have to make a decision. Do we really want to get in, or do we want to be in the last ones? Dallas, I mean, who they got left?
I think Dallas is in the same spot.
Dallas have Sacramento, Chicago, and then the Spurs last.
Yeah, hold on. I think that's Chicago's a winnable game. Who else they got? Mars?
They got Sac, Chicago, and then the Spurs is pretty much guaranteed.
Who?
The Spurs,
Chicago, and the Spurs.
Should I have tweeted that Wiggins was back in the game when I found out? Damn.
They'll beat the Spurs. Look, if they can win 3 of those last, how many games they got? Like 4 or 5?
They got 3. They got 3 games.
They got 3 or 4 games.
3.
Who? The Mavs?
The Mavs have Sac, Chicago, and San Antonio.
Oh, I thought they had 4.
If they can run the table, if they somehow can run the table, and OKC loses, they get in.
They should have beat Atlanta. Damn it, could have helped the Raptors.
Yeah, but Kyrie wants to foul.
Don't do that, Mars. Don't do that, Mars.
That's what happens.
All right, fellas, let's keep it pushing. We'll get into it tomorrow. Double P said, I respect you, Ticket, for bringing the energy to the panel. But can you call a spade and talk about MJ calling Pippen to guard Kobe instead of himself? Bulls got smoked by 25. Killer instinct, question mark?
You talking about MJ at the end of their run? After he'd already put in all that work? That ain't nothing, bro. I mean, bro.
Not only that, Ticket, I'm sorry to cut you off, Ticket, but not only that, don't leave out the fact that they played him earlier that year and put 36 on him. So what are we talking about?
Facts.
Shit, I'm not guarding Kobe either. I got Scottie Pippen right here.
Y'all got to watch it.
Yeah, what the hell would I do?
Yo.
If you're gonna put me in the post, I'm not switching with Chill. Yo, Jay, take him in the post, baby.
Get it, man. It's goofy.
All right, fellas. No Cat Prince said, what if what Skip said about Larry Bird is true, he is no longer an all-time great.
I don't even know what he said about
what he say.
We don't say no. We don't take nothing Skip say.
I don't think anything Skip said is true. So ever.
Well, wait. What did he say?
I don't know if it was something that holds some weight.
We'll look it up and talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, I know he talks a lot of BS, but we, give him a chance.
Yeah, now put that back up.
Yes.
Michael Green said, next team to the court, y'all.
That's why I should have won. That's why I should have won. Low cheated. Low, you find your ass low. Low had basketball reference in his glasses. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It was a conspiracy because how in the hell did Low pull up all the Tim Duncan stats like that so quick?
You just said it, Ticket. You just said it, Ticket, how he pulled it up. We already. Me and Ox was just talking about what Low did. I know for a fact.
Low not only had basketball reference up, he had a bunch of burner accounts. He was sending in those super chats, so he knew the topics too.
Hey, bro, he knew it. He knew it, bro. I believe that he knew it, bro.
Low cheating on the test. You cheating on the test.
There's no way. I'm thinking out the dome. That's what I respected about Chilltown and even Mars. When Mars did Wilt. Look how Mars was thinking like, he ain't pull that up. Mars had to have known that information in his brain. What Low did was nasty, bro.
Low down. He ain't the legend of Wiggins. He's low down.
Low down. Why y'all think I call him low down? Bro,
Cheat is crazy. Cheat is crazy.
Dub. I agree with you, Dub.
No, that actually is kind of wild. But let's continue to keep it pushing. Drink More Water said, what I don't get is if you lose early in the in-season tournament, you only play 78 to 79 games in the season. Or is it a loser's pool that gets you to 82 games? The tournament is a dumb idea.
It is a dumb idea.
It is. And I think there is a loser's pool because everybody plays 82 except for the 2 winners that play 83. It's
a dumb idea. I'm good. It's a money grab.
Jeremiah Smith said in 1995, Shaq placed second in MVP voting behind D-Rob. Shaq made All-NBA second team. Nobody cried about it. Limited spots make you compete.
That's correct.
If I existed, I would have complained, but I wasn't around, so it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mars.
I complained.
See, Fluent did it on my behalf.
Yeah.
Double P said, salute ticket for your hat. A la Madrid.
You already know. Mars know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
NPR said, chill shooting like Steph Curry today.
Hopefully it wasn't like Steph Curry last night, but yeah.
I was about to say, because he was garbage last night. Trash. Clay too, not just him. Clay too. Both of them.
It was really bad for Golden State last night.
Elijah, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, said ticket is the all lives matter argument also valid.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, we'll keep it pushing. King Shotta 442, shout out King Shotta, said Joel should have at least 3 first team.
Based on what, King?
Right now.
Based on what? What are you basing it on, King?
He's been a top 5. He's been a top 5 performer the last
top 5 player. Yeah.
Based on him being a bum.
Are you, man? Ox is salty that his Kings are going to get knocked out in the first round by the Lakers.
Hey, Ron, it's about that time, yo.
All right, if you bounce it, I'm gonna read a couple more. We got about 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. All right.
I will see y'all dudes tomorrow. Same
Right,
time, same bat time, same bat station.
Hey, I don't believe he said that. If he said that, he got knocked out.
Who,
If
Bird?
Bird said that, he got his face knocked off. I don't think he said that.
I don't know if he said it or not, but top 10 is top 10.
He would have got knocked out. If he said that, if he said that, he would have got knocked out.
Yeah, he's still top 10 regardless. I didn't make him worse at basketball, so
Nah, I don't think.
In case y'all wondering, Sick OG with the super chat said Skip alleged Bird said the N-word to his rivals in a 3-point contest.
Don't believe it. They'd have jumped his ass right there.
I said it to my rivals in the 3-point contest too.
ER or A?
Nah, chill. Steph, I don't shoot like Larry Bird.
Oh, you don't?
Chill.
You didn't have to tell anybody that.
Hey, put that on the screen, Ron. Real quick.
Skirvin Boyro said, should Kid be on the hot seat? Mavs are a failure.
Yes.
Yes.
So the kid is an amateur coach. He be doing these. He does his funny. He been doing this stuff for you, and that's what holds him back as a head coach. The immaturity and the little foolishness that he does, not only as a
Weird
coach,
lineups.
Weird lineups,
Yeah.
stupid stuff. Not wanting to play your bigs. Not wanting to play bigs when you need them. Jay Kish, he's a great basketball mind, but his mind thinks too much for himself. He do dumb stuff in the game. Yeah, he should be on the hot seat.
All right, last but certainly not least, No Cat Prince said Wiggins is back.
that's good for Golden State.
So apparently Woj, man, I wish I had known. I knew this morning, but I thought it was already public. Woj broke the story this afternoon. Damn it.
So does that mean that the Warriors beat the Suns in the first round?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, right now they've got to worry about not being in the play-in because
That's a problem because you out there much time, bro. That has a lot to do with your
they're a 6 spot right now.
Yeah, is he gonna be rusty? That's gonna be big.
Mm.
Yeah,
he's still going to be better than Kuminga, though. No,
but I'm saying no. But one thing about basketball is this: like, whenever you're doing something, if you take a lot of time, especially from pro basketball, if you take a lot of time off, bro, it's gonna get you a minute to get back in. It ain't everybody's not KD, bro. You're not gonna just sit out, not play, and then come back and just be sharp like that. But that's not the norm.
It's like twice as long that you were out to get back in. For some,
especially if they got a plus in the first round, you better get that rust off them knees. You're gonna have to run.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to our first weekday installment of the panel. This is the first of many. We're gonna see you guys at the same time tomorrow. You know where to catch us. You know where we'll be at, and you know we coming with the hot fire steaming takes. Catch y'all tomorrow.
Fool said, light the flashlight. That's how